Hello and welcome back, everyone. Today we have got episode 80 of the top 5 PvP battles for you guys. If you want to send in your own clips for the top 5, you can send them to KristoferESO@hotmail.com. And starting us off today, we have got CBFS Gaming on one of the coolest Stamina Nightblade gank builds I have ever seen. He's rocking a huge amount of hit points, tons of sustain on this thing, and just look at how hard he hits people out of stealth. He seems to be running some sort of super high damage, heavy attack spec, following it up with the surprise attack to make sure he gets that stun, and of course the off balance, the armor pierce, etc. And just look at the damage he gets out of stealth on this thing, just dropping players from huge amounts of health. And you saw that Dawnbreaker there only coming in at 10k, but he's landing almost 10k heavy attacks per a dual wield heavy strike on these guys. So huge amounts of damage coming out of those heavies. Look at him just tear through this high hit point Necromancer's hit points as well. Massive combos, and that poor low level player, he's just going to get one shot. But yeah, really cool build. I love how much damage he can do and how quickly he can re-enter stealth as well. It's a build I've personally fought a few times in Cyrodiil as well, and it is quite tricky to deal with. You definitely need to keep your guard up against this one. Nonetheless, a really great compilation from Cbfs, and be sure to check out his YouTube channel. Linked down below for this build and more gameplay of this guy as well. Now, moving us on to the next fight, we have got Animation Canceling back on that Stamina Dragon Knight, and Annie has been playing a lot of different classes, and he recently sent me a compilation of a bunch of different classes in action, and this is the clip I chose. So there is a lot of yellow on top of him here. And, well, Annie's just going to do his best, jump on top of them, drop down, and engage with the first player here, just putting heavy dot pressure into him. And then Annie going for a bit of a kite as the rest of the group jumps on top of him here. A big leap, going for the dot up on this player there, putting huge damage into him, just killing him with the initial dot up there. And Annie's just going to go for a little bit of dot pressure on that guy, quickly switching targets to the next player. Very squishy here to bring him down. And he, I think he manages to stop the res. The Sork actually doesn't stick that res out, opting to streak through Annie instead for the counter stun. Definitely the right move to make there. And Annie's just going to keep pressure up here, looking for a good target to hit, putting a lot of damage into this guy. The enemy negate comes down, but Annie just sticks out in the negate with his stamina moves, bringing that player down. He's going to just try to keep the bodies down. The yellow player's trying to get these reses everywhere here. A big leap to stun both players, stopping the res as well. And then he tries to go for the dot up on that player. Unfortunately, the Nightblade just slinking away. And then he's going to go for pressure on this quite tanky, it looks like, yellow player here. This guy's taken quite a bit of abuse. And Annie's just going to keep the pressure, I think, on him, looking for the opportunity to switch to a more appropriate target. And here we go again, Annie just stopping the res from this enemy Sork here. The Sork opting to quit the res himself instead of getting bashed. And Annie quickly switching back to that Dragon Knight. He actually didn't heal himself up. So a lot of bulk, but not a lot of healing power to keep that bulk up. And Annie's going to tear through him there and start working on the next target here. This enemy Nightblade, I believe, is healing away as hard as he can. And Annie's trying to keep the pressure up on top of this guy and trying not to let him get away. Look at him sprint. Another yellow player coming in. Annie's sticking on the target here. This guy's not getting out of here. There's another dot up. Pokes him with the swords, and down he goes. And Annie's going to come back here, I think, and just check the yellow bodies. He's put a huge dent into this group here. And right away, just picking up the first target there. Big pressure into him, bringing him down. More yellow coming around the corner. And he's going to pop those heals, go for a bit of a kite. There's a lot of pressure coming in now. He's taking quite a bit of damage just from walking around that corner, just not facing the group there. A few attacks came in, Annie getting hit pretty hard there. So he decides to go into the safety of the tunnel and see if he can lure some more yellow out here. Now, the yellow players actually don't follow him into the tunnel. So Annie just waits a little bit, and then he's going to come back out right away, engaging with the back end of the yellow group. And he puts big pressure into the first player there. That guy melts from the damage, and the enemy Sork jumps on top of Annie. Annie taking quite a bit of pressure from the initial attack, but he right away responds with his vigor. Makes sure to keep his health up here, and the enemy Sork is going for a shootout here, putting huge damage into Annie. Annie doing a good job just blocking the attacks, clips him with that fossilize, and the dots tear through the Sork, who went a little too aggressive there. And Annie's going to continue to push in to the sewer here and chase down the rest of this yellow group that has got away from him. There's 3-4 players left here. And Annie right away goes for the dot up. The enemy Necro drops his ultimate, a little bit of a sidestep there just to stay out of that AoE. And Annie takes a bit of pressure and snare here. He gets back around the corner, sets down some good heals, and a huge counter leap there. Both players into very low hit points, and Annie bringing one player down there. Really good sidestep again, avoiding that enemy Dawnbreaker, just rolling right through him, and then pressure right away on this player. The Fossilize into the dots. The enemy player caught with his pants down here. He's trying his best to heal it up. He has healing power for sure, but Annie's pressure just too deadly there. The leap on top of this guy, he does not break the stun, and Annie cleans it. And coming up next for you guys, we have got Zidane back on his Magicka Nightblade, and he is causing terror in the sewers as well. Zidane just engaging with a big yellow group right outside the yellow spawn here, and he's just going to go for a big AoE fear. One player went down to the Swallow Soul there. Zidane managing to bring down the Werewolf with the Swallow Soul pressure as well, and the healing power that Zidane rocks on this build. He is pulling in so much health as he maintains his aggression here, and Zidane loves that playstyle, just allowing him to put a huge pressure into the opposing players and keep his health high so he can just maintain that long-term aggression. The enemy players here unable to deal with that kind of pressure, and Zidane just keeping up the damage on everybody here, throwing the fears down as well. And so you can see he's got players just throwing snipes at him too, and Zidane's healing power from that Swallow Soul, so powerful. There you see just a casual 12k crit on that guy. And Zidane quickly cleans up the yellow players there. A few retreat into the back room here as well. And he's going to push right back into them. The enemy Sork goes for the streak through there. Zidane tries to hit him with the ultimate. A good dodge from the Sork. The enemy Nightblade responds with the counter stun. And Zidane's just going to go right away for pressure on this Nightblade. Huge damage there. I believe that was the Spectral Arrow just coming in and clipping him super hard, and Zidane going for another big Spectral Arrow combo on that guy there to bring him down too. This build hits hard for how bulky and how much healing power it has. Zidane is absolutely clocking these guys, and he's just going to keep working up here. This yellow player here seems actually to be friendly, just chilling, watching. Okay, Zidane's going to leave him alone and just wait around a little bit here until the yellow come back out again. We've got two enemy Nightblades. It looks like a third player there coming around the corner, a Templar as well. Zidane putting big pressure into the first Nightblade there with the fear. The enemy players throwing down the heals on him as well. But Zidane's consistent pressure here is just a little bit too much. This Nightblade also healing himself. And Zidane really pushes it there. Finds himself in a pretty dangerous spot. But there's a huge soul tether on everybody. Zidane's health shoots right back up. He's got the players tethered as well for even more healing power. And just look at the aggression outside of that tether ultimate. One player down, the second player down there. And this is the guy just hanging out and watching. It looks like a Nightblade hanging out in stealth here. He's thrown the snipes down earlier. We did see that. And Zidane catches him with the fear. A few pokes with the staff. And the Nightblade goes down too. And Zidane's going to keep engaging with this yellow group. Just pushing right back into them. This player here just stands there and gives Zidane a little bit of a Telvar donation. Thank you very much. And Zidane's going to keep on hanging around the sewer here. A bit of time passes, and he re-engages with these guys again. Jumping right on top of this enemy Nightblade. There you see a big connection with the Spectral Arrow. Just popping that guy out of stealth too. And then finally hitting him with the Swallow Soul to bring him down. Taking quite a bit of pressure from the enemy Templar here. Zidane throws down the Soul Tether. Two players down again from the Soul Tether cast. Just so much AoE burst, the stun, and then the ability to turn and just power through your opponents with that healing power. And Zidane just keeping down the pressure on these guys. The enemy players here just unable to really touch his hit point bar unless they get a huge combo like that with a lot of snipe coming in too to get the healing debuff on Zidane as well. He just resets his heals, his shields, and then finds himself in this little corridor here. And that's going to give him a little bit of LOS from all the enemy snipers, namely the ones up top. And Zidane manages to bring another target down. The consistent aggression just giving him so much healing power and allowing him to maintain so much offense on this group. The enemy players throwing down the Destro ultimate, and Zidane just walks right into it, keeping up the pressure, killing the player that had casted the ultimate to cancel the ultimate cast there, and right away jumping on top of this guy, trying to go for the res. Big punish there. He is going to get him. Oh, there's the kill with the Swallow Soul poke. And it looks like just two yellow players left on the ground here, while Zidane is still getting pelted from up top there. So he goes back behind the pillar here. He's got a little bit of LOS. And there we know that big ultimate's coming. The enemy player actually doing a great job blocking that ultimate. But the damage bonus following the Soul Harvest is going to be a little bit too much. Zidane just tearing through the remaining yellow players here one at a time. A lot of them just kind of shy to come down now. This poor guy, weapon seethed actually. There we go. Zidane's just going to let him go by. And then a little bit more time goes by as he waits for more yellow to come out. Quickly putting some damage into that guy as he runs by. And it looks like he wants to push right into these guys again. A big soul tether on top of the group. The Swallow Souls to follow up the damage. One player goes down. Zidane right away switching to the next target. So much healing power from the aggression. Again, it just allows him to put huge damage into these guys while they're attacking him. And he's already got his next ultimate up. There we see he goes for the quick spike with the ult there into the Swallow Soul again. And another player goes down. Zidane with the fear on this guy here. He does not break the stun, not what you want to do. And he looks like he's just got 2 players left to fight here. This enemy Nightblade trying to sneak away. Zidane is not going to let that happen. Just putting the pressure in here, throwing the Swallow Souls down as well. And, well, it looks like that is it. There's one last yellow player here. Zidane feeling a little bloodthirsty. He's going to finish this last guy off. And, oh, no, he's not. There we go. Gets the fear into the poke. Nice stuff. All right, now moving on to our next fight, we have got Nolan Kerkhoff on the Stamina Templar. And here you can see he right away goes for pressure on top of these yellow players as they come around the corner here. And Nolan almost finishing one player off right away, but the enemy group going for a lot of pressure. Nolan's just going to kite back around the corner here. It looks like he's running a fairly high regen, fairly high damage Stamina Templar. And there we go. One player comes around the corner. Nolan hits him with the javelin, starts going for that jab pressure. But the rest of the players start coming up here. Nolan actually a little low on stamina here, so he goes for the sprint up the corridor here. And he's just going to wait for them to come back around. Again, just feeding them the jabs as they come around the corner. And it looks like he really wants to get some good positioning on this fight. There's quite a few yellow players around that corner, and Nolan is all by himself. So he needs to be careful how he positions himself. There we see a big Dawnbreaker, more jabs as well. Again, nearly bringing a player down there. And Nolan is not going to stick that combo out. I think that was a good call. Look at these yellow players. They are training on top of him. And if they all hit him at the same time, Nolan is going to be in some big trouble. And he's going to keep moving around, trying to find himself a better position. Unfortunately, I think he fell there. I don't know if he wanted to. That being said, he's just going to kill the mobs and go for a repentance. So get a little bit of resource back from that fall there. And I believe the yellow players do see him. There we go. They do see him up top. Nolan again just getting a little bit more resource back. And one yellow player jumps down. And Nolan's going to right away engage. There's a big Dawnbreaker there right away with the jabs and taking a lot of pressure from this enemy group. A huge start of the heal on that Vigor there. And Nolan right away going for pressure on the one player that's left himself a little bit exposed, but the rest of the group quickly jumping on top of him. And Nolan again is going to have to reposition himself here. He is taking too much pressure from these guys to sit right next to them. And he knows that he's going to have to just find a good way to get a couple bursts and try to keep those bodies down. And Nolan just moving around a bit more here. The yellow group really splitting up, actually. Just 2 players at the front. I think Nolan's going to want to go for this combo. There's the Dawnbreaker into the jabs. That's a single yellow player down. A big repentance off of that. I feel like they probably killed some mobs around this corner, so Nolan got a little bit more resource back there too. And the rest of the yellow players are starting to come around the corner as well. And Nolan sees that. He javelins the first player around the corner, sees 3 more coming, and he decides not to try to stick out the guard on the body there. Instead, just going for a bit of a kite again, just keeping this group split up. And Nolan heading back towards the bridge, and he jumps down again. And let's see what the yellow players do. Are they going to follow him down here? There's a couple up top. The group is still pretty large together. It looks like 5, 6 still staying pretty close together. And Nolan's just going to run through the corridor here and see, yep, one player's going to jump down and follow. And Nolan sets down the javelin. He sets up all his buffs. And here we go. Big Dawnbreaker around the corner. Unfortunately, it didn't look like it connected with that Sork that was literally right in front of him. So a little bit unfortunate with the game's targeting there. And Nolan's just going to have to, again, go for a kite back around this corner here. He needs to find a good position for this group. And then he finds a single yellow player kind of by himself. But he's got a lot of hit points. So Nolan decides not to stick that one out again. And he jumps down one more time, killing the mobs again to get a little bit of stamina back from them. Right away, switching to the player that jumped down by himself. And Nolan finally managing to, again, catch a good kill. Yes, he finishes him off there with the last attack against one of the yellow players from splitting the group there. And it looks like the yellow player's trying to go for a res. Nolan right away with the Dawnbreaker into the jabs, bringing another yellow down. And they're jumping on top of him here. Nolan gets that repentance from the mobs there, pulling that stamina back. He's going to kite his way back around the corner here. It looks like the yellow players are focused on the bodies here. I think they want to pick up their dead. Nolan hits a good javelin on this Sork, and then huge damage off those jabs. The Executioner, and another player goes down. This guy's trying to pick up the dead. Nolan ain't going to have any of that. Right away going for those jabs. Stuns him with the javelin. But look at that. There's quite a few yellow up top, and Nolan's actually getting bombed pretty hard as he tries to prevent these reses here. But a big Dawnbreaker into the jabs. One player goes down. A beautiful Executioner cancel to finish him off, pulling the resources with that repentance again, and Nolan is right back up to full resource, killing another yellow player with that stun there. And the yellow players are slowly jumping down one at a time, trying to pick the bodies up. That's not what you want to do. Nolan is able to just put big pressure into the targets one at a time here. They're just lining up for him. A huge Dawnbreaker smack into the jabs again. And now there's just a single, nope, two yellow players left here. Nolan hits the first stun on the one guy there. He's very slow to break that stun. And Nolan's just going to finish him off with the jabs into the Executioner. And he's got a single yellow opponent left. And just like that, a bit of movement, a bit of strategic placement, and Nolan was able to bring this entire group down by himself, and he's putting the work into this last guy there, puts the pottle down. The enemy player just going for a lot of rolls there. He's going to catch himself low on stamina if he's not careful, and Nolan right away just counters with his own Power of the Light, big Dawnbreaker combo, the Executioner, and he turns the cam away as well. Beautiful stuff to finish that fight off. And for our last clip today, we have got Dixie ESO bringing us an insane 3vx with Spectral and the Showtime Zeus. And Dixie's going to be on a Stamina Templar himself. Here you can see a lot of red players coming in the corridor here. Dixie and his friendly players just being patient. They know this group is going to have way more firepower than them, so they're going to need to hit him with a great smack in order to turn things. And there we go, right off the back. A huge ult dump from Dixie's group, and it looked like 5 or 6 red players down instantly there, but that is not going to be all of them, not even close. There's a ton of red players here, and Dixie's just trying to fight his way further through the tunnel here with his friendly players, and there's a lot of red just waiting outside, and Dixie and his group push right into them, putting the jab pressure down. Another Dawnbreaker right away. They generated a lot of ult from picking up all those kills the first time, and they managed to bring 2 more red players down, and Dixie just keeping the pressure down on these guys right away, moving to the next target, putting the jabs down on him as well. Trying to get that finishing blow. Unfortunately, the enemy player just kiting his way out here, but Dixie stays on top of him, pulling a Nightblade out of stealth with the AoE from the jabs there too. And it looks like Dixie's not going to be able to stick that kill out. The red players start to pile up and turn on him, and Dixie's going to go back up this staircase here, trying his best, I think, to just lure the red players back into this corridor. There's still a ton of bodies here, but there are red players all over the center of the sewers. And Dixie right away pushes back out on top of the player that's rezzing there. They quickly finish him off. There's a huge Dawnbreaker drop there. The rest of the friendly group dumping some ults, putting some big AoE pressure down too. And just like that, they've wiped the entire group of red that was at the top of the staircase there. Save maybe this last very tanky player here, and Dixie's just putting a bit of pressure into him here. And I think with that last smack that they have wiped a majority of this red group here. There's quite a few red left, but they are very spread out and disorganized. So Dixie and his group here are just going to work them down one at a time, taking out their targets. And while you guys enjoy the rest of this fight, a huge thank you and massive shout out to everybody who sent those clips in for the top 5. Be sure to check out everyone featured in today's episode. Links to their channels down in the description below. For our bonus clip, we've got one more awesome group wipe brought to us by MisterFickey and his group. If you guys want to send in your own clips for the top 5, you can send those to KristoferESO@hotmail.com. If you guys want to keep up to date with my shenanigans, you can give me a follow on Twitter. Check out my Twitch for that live gameplay, or if you guys just want to come and chat and say hello. And of course, check out my website, KristoferESO.com. It's got written guides to all of my ESO builds and is also a hub for all of my ESO content. We are sponsored by What the Fast, a VPN for gamers, free to try for the first month. A link down in the description below for you guys. And of course, a massive thank you and a massive shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this job, so thank you so much for supporting. Thank you everybody for tuning in and watching today. And as always, have a great night, everybody.